Wowee. It is going to be quite the week for our co-host because he's taking the whole week. He's claiming the whole week as his birthday week. He's taking that as his birthday week. But today, I believe, is the day. Isn't today the day, Derek?
Today is always the day, but tomorrow is
the day.
Yeah.
Well, I made this for you.
Yeah, but I'll take it. I'm taking all the birthdays, as my nephew says.
Well, I whipped this out this morning. I whipped out this little happy birthday, Derek.
Greatly appreciate it, kind sir.
How old are you now? 43?
Yeah, keep telling them.
Which anniversary of your 43rd birthday is it? That's the question.
Number 16.
Okay. So you just work that out however you want to work it out. Say it's my 25th anniversary of my 25th well, you know what I mean.
Yep, it's the long math that matters. It's the long math that matters. No, I'm just thrilled to be here. You know what I mean? Like I said, in those days, in those dark days, buddy, when things aren't going well and there's some doubt, you ask.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and you ask the universe and that thing that is greater than you for one more day.
And it's allotted to you.
And the answer is yes. So I'm going to celebrate.
If the answer is yes until the answer is no, right?
Right. And you better celebrate all the yeses. You better celebrate them all.
That's the truth. That is the truth. So anyway, just in case you didn't catch it earlier, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is happy birthday to Derek Pearson. He is a super guy. Guy. So honored to have him on Be Encouraged every Tuesday morning, that he takes the time to do this. Unbelievable. I appreciate it more than you know, Derek. Thank you so much. I would send you something, but I haven't. So I need to do that.
I'll be here.
Send you a birthday present.
Yeah.
Of some kind. I'll stir something up.
There we go.
I know I can get you a book, The Impact of Influence, signed by the authors.
Hey, guess what?
What's that?
Speaking of that, we had the official meeting last night for volume 2.
Oh, wow.
And all of the chapters are in.
Nice.
The launch date has been circled. It is September 18th.
That is awesome. So what's it going to be, Impact of Influence 2?
Yeah, the volume 2.
Is it all the same authors or different authors?
There's some different authors. There's some the same. There's some different ones in there.
Cool.
They asked me, they invited me back, and I went, okay, well, you guys are 0 for 2. You had chances to do this without me, and having to choose what I was going to write about, but I can preview it a little bit.
Please.
We all have the community of people who love us a little bit above and beyond the norm.
Right.
And often in sports, there are little league organizations that carry you through. They give you identity, they give you boundary, they give you connection. They become your pool of friends, and they become your community and personal mores. They tell you what is right, the right way to do it, and usually in those organizations, they're coaches and parents.
Yeah.
Who look out for you even when you aren't looking out for yourself.
Right.
And in Arlington, Virginia, there are several organizations that were just exceptional. But for me, I hold near and dear to my heart an organization called the Black Knights.
Say it again.
The Black Knights. The Black Knights.
Okay.
Black Knights. Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine that they took the colors and the all of the mission of Army.
Yep.
Same colors, black and gold.
Sure.
The logo was a black knight, which is actually, just a black knight, not in person, but in color, black.
I got you.
And the beauty of that, Lee, was in that organization, there were no peripheral differences. Black, white, blue, brown, rich, poor, Catholic. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
We were all together.
Correct. You were all black knights.
Yeah, we were all black knights. They looked out for each other, taxi service, meal service, doctors.
I get it. Yeah. I got you. Right? Yeah.
And for me, I just wanted to point out that we all have our own version of the Black Knight. Like if you played sports as a kid, there's an organization that when you think of them, you smile.
Mm-hmm.
You smile. And most of my friends, my childhood friends, were from the Black Knights or their rivals. But to me, it was just like I smile ear to ear when I think of the families. I could list 50 families without thinking about it.
Nothing more important than the other necessarily.
Yeah. But it was just, Lee, it's all the kids that you grew up with.
Yeah.
And on game day, you put on the jersey, right? And you were all proud. Or if you were just hanging out in the neighborhood and you were doing something you shouldn't be doing, they were the eyes and ears that would simply say,
"You're gonna have laps at practice, brother."
Yeah, So, Lee, I'll ask you: who was there an organization like that for you?
Of course, I was thinking about it while you were talking about it. BRYC was pretty big here in Braddock Road, and I played Braddock Road and had some good experiences, and I still have friends that I played with that I still communicate with and then of course there was Robinson, not so much for sports, but I was a drummer and in the marching band, and that was a huge family, and we had a great director who was just, and like you said earlier, it's the group that tells you how to act. Well, no, they show you how to act.
Yeah.
I'm sure in most cases that's the case. They show you how to carry yourself, how to act yourself. There's none of this do as I say, not as I do. You have to stand up and do if you want people to understand and respect and then follow in your footsteps. And there was a lot of that, of course. And then there was church. I mean, I had the youth group that we were tight. And I'm still real close to the guys and girls that I was in youth group with, and we're still very tight. And, we did everything together. We went on retreats. We were just really a tight-knit group. And it wasn't Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. We goofed off and did stuff we shouldn't have been doing also. People say church. Oh, church, you're such a good kid. Yeah. Retreats. There was lots of stuff going on after hours.
You and that one time at band camp, right?
One time at church camp. That's what we had to come up with the whole thing. One time at church camp. Yeah.
Funny thing, Lee, I coached for Braddock Road.
Yeah. Did you?
One of the first football jobs, the head coaching jobs I got
was BRYC.
Yeah.
Nice. And then FPYC too. I mean, my sister was involved with them, and I was the other part of BRYC was I was a referee for BRYC after I stopped playing soccer, and that was a lot of fun, man. I mean, I really enjoyed, and I think it's just because I didn't have any God complex or anything like that. I talked to coaches when they were getting out of hand. I talked to players. I talked to coaches about players so that they could handle it and I didn't have to handle it. These kind of things that I still wish I could run a referee camp and show people, you're a human being and these kids are human beings and these people, men, you're refereeing those guys too. Treat them like human beings. And I've seen some referees that seem you can tell are respected by the players, because when he says this is what happened, they go, okay, And then there's guys who say, this is what happened. And 8 guys around him are going, what? You're yelling at him. And it's like, that's not going to happen when I'm on the field. I mean, number one, we're going to talk about that ahead of time.
Right.
If I make the call, I make the call, Jack. There's going to be no changes. And in fact, if you try and get in me, we're going to make some more calls against your team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, because there's always penalties to call, or fouls to call. And somebody got me. It's penalties is in American football. It's fouls in soccer. Whatever. Some knothead. Yeah. But yeah, there's always fouls to call. I mean, you can call. There's tons of stuff. You got to let it play though, because you call every single foul. Oof. You got to call the dangerous plays, and that's about it. I mean, they're shoving and pushing and pulling on shirts and stuff like that. As long as it doesn't impede on anything, you just let it go. Because you have to. It's the same as football. Football. There's holding at every stinking down. There's holding on every down. I heard that from. I remember what's his name, who used to do Dan Fouts, and there was another guy that did with Dan, and they were like, and I've heard offensive linemen say this all the time. It's just the luck of the draw when they call you for holding, because the guy next to you was probably holding, the defensive player was pulling you down. I mean, there's so much stuff on that line that's going on. You just gotta, let's say every 2 downs we're gonna call a holding penalty. We're gonna let them play the other times.
Yeah, are you gaining unnecessary advantage?
Right, exactly.
Like there's comfortable movement, the usual battle and contest. But then if you go outside of yourself,
yeah, like Chase Young's running around your end, and you reach out and grab his jersey and pull him down. Okay, that's
going outside of yourself. Within yourself, we won't call the foul. Outside of yourself, I have to call the foul.
Exactly. Yeah, and then what always baffles me is when you get the foul called, and this is life. You get the foul called on you, and then you complain. No, you fouled that person. What are you complaining about? Do you think it's going to change the referee's mind next time? It's like, come on. And I know you've been guilty, Derrick Pearson. You've seen the foul, referee called it, and you had to say, "Hey, he didn't do it," or whatever. I've seen all coaches. There's no. Every coach does it at some point.
Here's what I was taught at an early age, and it carried through as a coach, and so it's what I taught my players.
Yeah.
Is that as a player, it's not my job.
Uh-huh.
It's not my job to question the call. It's not my job to question the official. He's the official.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned the right to do that.
That's right.
As a player, it just wasn't there. As a coach, my communication with an official is in a rules capacity. It's not in a judgment capacity. It's in a rules capacity.
Right.
I will ask, what's the rule on that? That eliminates a whole lot of the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to question the ball and strike call. That's not it. What's the rule? What are we calling? Oh, I'm calling top of the knee to the bottom of the numbers. Okay, cool. Then I know what to tell my player. And then that's the response to the official. What's the rule so that I can coach my players to play to the rule? And it kept me in all of my years of coaching 3 sports all over the country. I've had 1 technical in basketball. 1. Ever. And it was because I got up in the middle of the game. I had gum in my mouth.
Oh.
And it was a bad call, right? It was a bad call. But I got up, and as I'm walking to, I said, "Makes me throw away my gum." And I throw it in the trash, and he heard me, and he goes, boom. We were in Pennsylvania at a Christmas tournament. It was not local. It was nobody that knew me. He teed me up for talking to him, and he goes, "You talked to me, and you were outside the coaching box, so I got to tee you up." That's the only one that I ever got.
I will never forget covering for television, because I did quite a bit of sports on television, local and some stuff that was national. I was the spotter for the DeMatha versus somebody basketball game that was this huge game. And I mean, ESPN was covering the game, so their truck was there. And the guy who was directing knew me and called me and asked me if I wanted to come and make a few bucks spotting for the announcers. And so I did. And I'll never forget the guy. The coach from not DeMatha, but the other team was this. This guy's got his hair, he looked like Rick Pitino, had his hair slicked back. He's bigger than Rick, he had that whole Italian look. And there was a foul called at some point, and the coach got up and hollered about it. And I don't think he got teed up or anything, but they called timeout, and the team came over and sat down. The coach, his assistants working with the team, the coach walked over the edge of his box and stood and stared at the referee the entire time out. I was like, damn. I was like, oh, shoot. The referee didn't phase the referee. He didn't care. He didn't care one little bit. But that guy just, he looked at him with that stare, and I was like, golly.
It's not against the rules.
No, it's not. That's what he did. He just stood there and stared at that the whole time.
To ask an official or an umpire or whoever, referee, whoever it is, right? Whatever the sport it is.
Yeah.
For the game, I'll ask, what are the boundaries?
Yeah.
What am I allowed to ask you? What am I allowed to question? And some of them will tell me, they'll just tell you, DP, nothing. Question nothing. And that lets you know, it's like, okay, simplicity. This is how we're going to get down today. We're going to have, you're going to be silly, and I'm going to be silly with you. But also, we make a point to make it human.
Right.
And the officials that would come up and we would exchange names so that I could simply address you,
Mike,
properly. And go, excuse me, Lee, what did you see on that? Excuse me, Lee, what's the rule on that?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you didn't say, DP, sit down.
Exactly. Have a seat, coach.
Yeah, have a seat. We're not doing that right now.
And I've done that, having been a referee in soccer and in youth, and also I was a linesman for high school and college games. I wasn't old enough to be a middle ref, even though my head referee said would have loved to let me do high school, but that was the age that I was. So, so I did a lot of stuff. I did some girls' high school. Actually, I did middle referee for a couple of girls' high school games. But I just told the kids, the girls, I took a position of being an adult on the field, and I'd say, listen, follow my orders, do what you do, play hard, play fun, play fast, but play legal, and don't try and hurt anybody. If I see you trying to hurt somebody, you're done. You're gone. You're out of the field, off the field, gone. I don't play that game. If you hurt somebody accidentally, well, you need to be in control of yourself, and you're going to get a card probably. But I understand that you're going for the ball. As long as I see you going for the ball, if you just got to be careful. You can't go in cleats up. That's been happening a lot lately in the pros. A lot of cleats up penalties that aren't getting called and are getting called, both back and forth. That's a very dangerous play. And you can really scar somebody's legs up if you hit them with those cleats, because they keep those cleats sharp. They're not like the shoes you buy off the rack at the store. They will rip you up.
No, that's always interesting, because.
And in baseball, of course, the cleats. Those are really dangerous.
It's a metal spike.
Yeah, exactly.
And to play to that, I would always work from this, and coaching girls and women, they rarely snap.
Yeah.
At officials.
No, totally love it.
It was a different. Girls. Yeah, it was a different mindset. Less of the back and forth. And so you coach the level, but I always had to remember this. I can't ask my players to be in control. all the
If you're
time
not in control.
if I'm not in control.
Right.
Like if I lose it with an official, I pull a Bobby Knight and I throw the chair, then I'm not being disciplined. I'm certainly not being considerate of others and being mature and being a great representative of my team, organization, or
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
So through all of that, I remember that, and I can't. My play, like I said, my players could look at me, and I would, if they thought a call was bad, they would look at me,
And you back them up.
and I would tell them to play on. I said, I'll handle it. I'll handle it.
Exactly.
You play the game. I'll handle the official, and that's usually what it was. And then the other thing with Lee with me was I never went after an official during a live ball.
Right. Exactly.
Next time out. Next break and play. Excuse me. Pardon me. Like those are the two.
Yeah. And most of the time, same here. But and so when I start bubbling, right, and I know I'm going to blow, I turn around and walk over and sit on the bench. I turn around, walk over and sit on the bench and just do this. And the kids all know, don't talk to coach right now. Blow his lid. Because I don't want to blow my lid, so I don't say anything. But then I'll get up and I'll talk about the play, 2 times before that I didn't say anything at the time because I didn't think I could say it. And I'll tell the referee that I don't think I could have addressed it with you civilly, so I didn't say anything. But that play 2 times ago, I want to know what happened with that, after I've cooled down because I was about to blow my friggin' lid. And I just said, nope, go sit down, Lee, And I've had some of the really top coaches tell me that too. He said, you know what? When it comes time to soccer and you're coaching the game or any sport really, coach needs to have a seat because he should have prepared his team for the game and let them play. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, and so I always worked a lot harder on practice than after that,
Well, I could do that in basketball. I could not do that in baseball. Baseball, as a manager, I need to be standing. I can't have a player looking for me from the outfield, right? You can't have that. And in football, if I go sit on the bench, the game's over. Like that.
Well, because you're calling plays and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're listening to the plays being called. I've always said I thought I would be a great head coach for football as long as I had a good offensive coordinator and good defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Because I'm just the rah-rah guy. I'm kind of like the Dick Vermeil. And he goes, I didn't coach football. I coached manhood. I coached men on how to go at it. I had offensive coordinators and I had defensive coordinators that handled coaching football. I just coached men. And I was like, I can do that. I could do that.
That's every head coaching job I ever had was based on having good assistants who did the lifting. I was directional, and I simply gave rules for how decisions were going to be made.
Right.
Like what are we trying to accomplish here? Okay, then we're going to work from this set of rules. I coached more about how to play the game rather than coaching plays.
Sure.
I let the coordinators coach the plays.
Right.
But it was my job as the head coach to teach them how to play, how to do all the things that they're responsible for.
Right.
They teach plays. I teach how to play.
Right. And here's the thing that I did pretty well actually when I was the varsity soccer coach at Falls Church for an interim. Is I told the guys, listen, here's the deal. All of you guys have way more modern experience, nowadays experience with soccer and techniques and all that stuff than I do. Because I used to play quite a bit and I was really good and I loved it. And I played in Germany. I learned how to play. I mean, I know tactics, but there's stuff now like in training that you guys know better about because we didn't have training when I played soccer. I mean, we ran laps, that was basically it. And I was a goalie, so I was the last guy coming in every time anyway. So, but no one scored on me because I knew my coach taught me how to play the game, play the position. And I rarely got scored on unless it was just absolutely no way I could get to it. And usually I never put myself in that position. So But having said that, I said to these guys, listen, what you need to know though is this: all of you have a game plan in your heads because of the experience you have in soccer, but you have to get rid of that game plan. We all have to think like me. We all have to have the same game plan, because even if my game plan's not as sophisticated or as good as yours, if we're all doing things up on the same track, we're going to win. Period. Period. If we're all doing things with the same mindset, which in this case is mine, then we're going to win. And I'm going to pick up stuff from you guys. You're going to tell me stuff, and we're going to put a game plan together. And if you follow it, we will win. And because people don't do that. They don't follow the game plan unless they're at the higher levels, of course. And even then, you see these guys lose, and I guarantee you the coach can tell you, well, that's because we didn't follow the game plan, or whatever.
Well, we always, and again, it didn't really matter what sport it was or where in the country I was coaching it. Setting the GPS is always the most important thing in sports.
Absolutely.
Setting the GPS to, okay, here's what we're not going to allow. We're not going to allow passes across the middle. We're not going to foul jump shooters. We're not going to swing at pitches in the dirt. We're not going to throw the ball around on defense. We're not going to get out of alignment. We're not going like rules to how to play the game, so that when plays need to be made, there is a boundary to work from. And if everybody's working from the same boundaries, I'll ask the question on a regular basis. What's the rule on that? Oh, well, the rule is that I should defend basket first, then close out to the three. Okay, is that what we did? No. Okay, that's why we didn't have success. As long as you keep the rules of play,
absolutely,
boundaries are set, the rest of it becomes a lot simpler.
A lot simpler, absolutely. And and that's what the point I was making to those guys is: listen, I'm a very simple-minded guy. I'm an attack, because a good offense is a good defense. We keep the ball in their end, we ain't got to worry about it, And so we're going to keep the ball down on that end. We're going to shoot, and just keep putting balls on the net. And that was one of the big things in my training was, we're shooting from outside the 18, and you're going to fire at the net, and you're going to fire at the net, and every ball that you shoot, unless deflected by either the goalie or a defender, will go into the net. I can't stand when I watch these guys shoot and the ball goes flying 25 feet over the top of the goal. You ought to know how to strike the ball, especially a pro. I mean, come on. I mean, I watched my high school kids never shot balls like that. They were all on net, because that's what we worked on. We practiced that. And we didn't let the adrenaline, that's the other thing. I said, play like a robot, do what you know how to do without putting emotion into it, and just be mechanical in how you move the ball, pass, boom, boom. Think that way if you can. Easier said than done, because you're getting fired up. You're going, goal, I'm going to score a goal. Ah, okay, what did I just do? And that's, but that's how I said it to them, and they would laugh, because they know that's exactly what goes through their head. Their head's like, at that last second. But man, and that's why we did drills of just shooting on the goal over and over, so that it was. And I used to tell them, pass to the back of the net, man. Forget shooting. Just pass the ball good and hard to the back of the net, which is what Marco, somebody, Echeverry used to do with the DC United. He used to just pass that ball to the back of the net, man. It was just inside of his foot, boop, and he would just pass it. And it would go exactly where he wanted, just like when he's on the field and he's passing the ball. When you pass the ball on the field, when you pass the ball to Steve, where does it go? It goes to Steve. So when you're coming down there and you see that net's open, pass to the back of the net. He'll get it. I guarantee it. The net will get the ball. And of course, again, easier said than done sometimes. So, and I never yell at a kid. That's another thing too. I never yell at a kid. I pull a kid over the side, and they know I'm pissed, but I'm not going to yell at him. I'm going to say, what was that you just did? I'm sorry, coach. Well, no, don't be sorry. Just don't do it again. Go out there and don't do it again.
It's funny. I've never been pissed while coaching. Like I said, I had to set the rules for myself
Mm-hmm.
that nobody makes a mistake on purpose. And I'm not there to get pissed. That's
I
not in
agree.
the
I agree. Yeah.
not
I
there.
understand.
So I work from this. What where in my mission is it to get pissed off?
Yeah.
I know as a player, I hated having a coach go, well, why don't you shoot the shot?
Oh,
It wasn't there. That's and if you
right.
thought it was, then one of us is wrong. And
Right.
either way, pissed was never the way. Like when somebody makes a mistake, they need for me to love them more
Correct.
than they do when they do well. If you're
Right.
shooting, you take your shot and you make a goal, you don't. Everybody loves you,
Yeah.
but when you fail, you're on an island to yourself, and I need to
Mm-hmm.
bring you back. And the best way to
Absolutely.
bring you
No, and when I said that, and that's probably a poor term to use because I'm more. It's not pissed. Like I tell my daughter, I'm never mad at her. I get disappointed sometimes, but I don't get mad. I never get mad at her. And the same goes with my players. I never got mad at my players except for one time. And those happen. And it was because they could have done so much better and they just completely fouled it up. And I was just like, what the? Anyway, but it doesn't matter. So I say, but I definitely bring them over, put my hands on each shoulder, look them right dead in the eyes, say, okay, dude, what could you have done better on that one? And then they tell me and I say, let's do it then. Get it done, son.
Let's go.
That's how it is. Let's go. Well, we're at the end of our time. We didn't talk about anything. Well, we encouraged some people, I'm sure, there's people watching. And we encouraged you. Boop, 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 boop. And if you need that, you can just call me and we'll go on the air and I'll just throw this up for you.
There we go, brother. It's always appreciated. Each one is appreciated.
All right, bro. I love you, man. I really do. It's from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate your time every week. And you are without a doubt a gentleman and scholar, and I appreciate you more than you know.
Love you, brother.
See you later, man. I'll take care. All right, bye. All right, well, that's it for our show today. That was Be Encouraged, folks. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Have a great, great day. Uh-oh. See, I said that, and then I didn't have the right thing to put on.